The bigger problem we have in this world, the Yoruba have, is the Igbo problem. It's the Igbo problem. The maritime and then the judicial killing among the Yoruba race, Yoruba land is by the Igbos. Then when you look at the fake drug, it's by the Igbos. When you look at all the adulterated drugs too, it's by the Igbos. And when you look at all the fake things they brought from China, it's all the Igbos. And when you look at all the shops in Yaramkpaja and everywhere, it's by the Igbos. And when you look at the Okechukwu and all these things, even the name they are bearing in their village is different from the name they are bearing in Akure. An Igbo who did not go to school, who did not know his left from right, he's selling drugs in Abulegba. He's having a chemist in Abulegba. He's having a chemist in Surulere. He's having a chemist in Ayobok. He's having a blood bank where they start blood and sell into the hospital in Mushin and in Yaramkpaja. It's Igbo people. All to bring down the Yoruba people. So the problem we have now is too enormous.
I was at a meeting a few days back last week, and they said, the Igbos, we must find a way of checkmating them. I sat there in the midst of them. And the man said, you are not even saying anything. I said, what is the offense? He said, they are bought everywhere in Lagos. They are buying and buying. And I said, when they came with gun and shot your people, or your people collected money for the purchase. Baba looked at me and said, why are you like this? I said, I'm like that. Did your people sell to them? Or they brought gun and said, your land or your life? Why don't you learn their industry? Who asked you to sell your land? That was the end of the meeting. If you are going to invite me into a meeting where we are going to move the nation forward, don't pitch one tribe or ethnic nation against the other. It's not going to work for those of us who believe that the best of the North and the best of the South must come together to steer the ship of our nation.
So Yoruba have a lot of trouble. And when you look at it now, Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of a House of Assembly in Lagos. Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of House of Assembly in Ondo State. Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of Assembly in Oyo. What is the meaning of all this? And then they want to have the emir of Kano seller in Ore. They want to have the emir, the Seriki of plantain seller in Abeokuta. They want to have the Seriki of onion seller in Idimota. When are we going to run out of this rubbish? And when they are bringing all this cow in, they brought in ammunitions. What is the problem they're facing? So it's just like that. So they should not cause any trouble for now. Between now and 2023, they need to be arranging themselves. We're about going. Because when you look at the book of Exodus 1 verse 8, 9, and 10, he said, anytime the Egyptians are giving birth, the Israelites are giving birth, he said, kill all their sons. Kill all their sons, so that they will not join the enemy tomorrow to attack us. That's what he said.
So that was the man called Prophet Tibetan. The way the video is posted on YouTube, I think it was posted on March 25, 2020. The caption of this post is Prophet Tibetan, Igbos are the biggest problem we Yorubas have in this world, and not Fulani nor Hausa. Apparently, in this short clip that you just saw, he equally appeared to have also come down hard on the Hausas or the people who are trying to invade the Yoruba land with their arms and ammunition, or those who are trying to set up Seriki and all kinds of stuff, or emirs. And he used a term that was very scary. You know, he quoted from the scripture about killing their sons and all of that, and telling everybody to get ready by 2023. And I thought that was very interesting, you know. You know, every time I come across stuff like this, it sends chills down my spine. And the reason that happens is, I wonder what some of us eat. I wonder what we think when we say some of the things that we say. The reason I'm responding to this guy, I mean, of course, there's so many tribalistic voices I've heard, on both sides, whether from the Yoruba side or from the Igbo side or northern side. We've seen too many. And sometimes I just look the other way and just with a wave of a hand, I would just go like, forget about those people. I'm paying attention to this guy because apparently he's supposed to be a religious leader and he's got people who follow him. And he could so blatantly unleash on a tribe as the Igbos doing business in Yoruba land peacefully. And I'm not addressing this because I'm an Igbo man. I'm addressing it because I want to actually call everybody's attention to some of the modus operandi of the colonial masters. Whenever you see people talking like this, don't be confused. They are agents of the colonials. How many times have I told us about the divide and rule pattern or program of the Illuminati and the colonial masters? Of course, the colonial masters are Illuminati and the Illuminati is the colonial masters. So what they do is that they pick up all these agents, the people we call the useful idiots, who have sold their souls to the devil, and they use them to perpetuate division amongst the people. When you sell your soul to the colonial devils, you are going to become an agent of division on ground. So when people see you creating division or bringing up divisive things, they're going to actually focus on you rather than focus on the colonials who are paying your bills. How can a religious leader, a Yoruba man, say stuff like this? I am an Igbo man. I was so close to marrying a Yoruba woman. If I have the opportunity tomorrow, I will still do it 1,000 times over. There are so many Yoruba people married to Igbos, so many Igbos married to Yoruba, living very peacefully and happily after their marriage. We have been brothers and sisters. We've been doing businesses together. Igbos have been living in Yoruba land for as long as I can remember. There are some Yorubas, not many, but very few, who also still live in Igbo land till today, speaking Igbo. Do you know, I have cousins in Yoruba land, in Lagos, who don't understand Igbo, but they speak Yoruba language more than so many Yoruba people that I know. That's all the language they know to speak. They were born in Yoruba land. If you look at the things that we have in common, they are far more than the things that separate us that we don't have in common. Then you begin to wonder, why is it that we have this animosity amongst ourselves? Every time you see a fight online, it is the Igbo fighting Yoruba, it is Yoruba fighting Igbo, and the colonials are sitting down enjoying themselves and drinking and clicking their glasses and saying, hey, we got them right where we want them. And you are not thinking. Because they know that these two tribes, the moment they come together, the suffering that we have in Nigeria today will end in a heartbeat. They know it. You think they don't know? That's what Tavistock Institute is doing in the UK. The Tavistock Institute is where they go to create all these ideologies and philosophies and all this social kind of wickedness that they come and infuse in the societies. And then you see these people, you start having class warfares up and down. They create it. It's a psychological warfare. It's a psy-op, psychological operation. They use religious leaders to perpetuate it. They use politicians to perpetuate it. They have done it in eastern Nigeria, where a person who bears an Igbo name in Delta State will say, I am not Igbo, and yet they are Ngozi. Ngozi means the same thing in Delta that it means in Enugu and in Imo. You see somebody whose name is Okechukwu, and they say, oh, I am not Igbo, please. You see another person, my name is Chukwuka, and he said, I'm not Igbo. What is the meaning of Chukwuka in Delta? Is it different from the meaning of Chukwuka in Anambra or in Enugu? These things are all psychological operations to keep every aspect of our society divided. You go to different countries in Africa, the same thing is what they're doing. Division everywhere. Go to Liberia. All the tribes have been fighting against themselves forever. They've been fighting till today. Go to Sierra Leone. Go to different parts of Africa, you see where they have war, they ought to always make the tribes to come against themselves. And these are tribes that before the colonials showed up on our shores, they were all living together in peace and harmony. We didn't know all these divisions before the colonial powers came. But because their mantra is divide and rule, they always want us to stay forever divided. You are talking about Igbos are your biggest problem in Yoruba land. That is the most ludicrous statement that anybody, let alone a person of your caliber, can ever make. This is something that when you hear children making statements like that, you call them and draw their ear and say, stop doing that. But you, the elder, who has people all around following you, you are making this kind of statement, vibrating like you're about to lose your breath, filled with hate, unfounded hatred. This is downright evil. Like when I was watching the youth speak, sir, I thought that you needed serious deliverance, to be honest with you. You cannot be used to divide us, especially at this critical time in our lives that we should be planning to come together to fight against the common enemy. If you watch my programs, even when we want to talk about the herdsmen, I try to be very careful to be sure that I'm speaking specifically about the killer Fulani herdsmen. Because not all Fulanis are evil. Not all Hausa people are terrorists. I can tell you that because I know. I have Hausas as friends. I have Muslims. I said this thing during my live broadcast. I have Muslims who love me to death and I love them like there's no tomorrow. I told you people during my broadcast, some of these people will come and say, and they are not pretending. I'm not a dummy. When people pretend, I know. These guys don't pretend. They tell me clearly, Joe, I don't understand what these guys are doing. You know why they don't understand? Because the Freemasons, the occult, the Illuminati, the globalists, the New World Order, they use these religions and make sure they use them to create and perpetuate division in the society. They use Islam. They use the so-called Christian religion as well. Vatican is what represents that for them. And they also have Pentecostals and evangelicals now involved in it. They have agents in the Vatican. They have agents in the Pentecostal world. You've seen me expose all these people. I don't expose only one set of people. I don't care whose ox is God. Once the truth has to be exposed, I expose it. So you can label all Hausa people terrorists. You can label all Fulanis. There are good Fulani people. You bet a Fulani man could save your life tomorrow. Very good ones who don't even want to identify with the nonsense that's going on. But the occultists are using these people. The colonial powers are using these people to destroy our society as we know it. When you're making statements as a mature man, you don't make sweeping statements. You talk like a mature person, like somebody who is sane. If you are sane and you're normal, you will not be an agent of division at a point when we need unity more than ever before in our lives. How can we then break loose and get free if things like you have just done will continue? Don't you know that you are now the agent of slavery, of enslavement? You are talking about 2023, how that you guys are going. You cannot go anywhere with these kind of statements. Those are the pillars on which the slave masters have held us down forever. If we don't cut down the pillars and bury them, you will not be free, I will not be free, nobody will be free. We will all continue to be here to keep. You know, there's a place in Ghana, it's called Cape Coast. I went to Cape Coast when I was going to Emena Castle one time. And I noticed that there is a roundabout there. And they raised something they call Kotokraba. And I was asking them why they put it there. I don't know how the story went, but somebody then ended up telling me the story of crabs. They told me that crabs do so. Up to this moment, I did not know it. He said there's something about crabs that you need to know. He said when you take crabs, a lot of crabs, and put them in a basket or in a bowl, when any crab wants to crawl out of that basket or that bowl to regain freedom, The other crabs down there will go up and pull the crab down. So the pull down spirit is called the crab spirit. Somebody wants to go up. Instead of letting them get freedom, you don't know whether their freedom will now help you to facilitate your own freedom or whether they will help you to facilitate your own freedom. You don't want them to be free because you are down. They need to come down and be down with you. A crab spirit. This is the same way that you have this same divide and rule. If we are not divided, the colonials will never be able to rule us. They will never be able to defeat us. We become too powerful. That's why they went to Berlin and created borders for Africa without our consent, not the consent of our ancestors. That's why they came and used some of these tyrant leaders in Nigeria during the days of coup d'etat to go and create states. And they cut off Igbo, who joined this one. They cut off different people who can never blend and put together in the same place so that they never agree. And as long as we fail to agree, we will remain slaves. We don't know that we are slaves. What every state man, every decent individual, if you know you are worth your onion, if you know you are worth any title you have today in Nigeria, in southern Nigeria, you should be preaching peace. And the biggest miracle that will happen in Nigeria is the day that the Yorubas and the Igbos will come together and forget all this incendiary nonsense and come together and work as one people. That day, that day, that's the day that all the generations unborn will remember that day as the day that Nigeria and the indigenous peoples of Nigeria became free. But unfortunately, just like the politicians, the preacher, the person who's called a prophet is now the one widening the gaps of division. May God have mercy on you, sir. I don't hate you, but I pray for God's mercy. You need forgiveness. If God doesn't forgive you, this is going to mess you up in the future. This is the worst thing that any human being could ever do. Knowing that people follow you. If care is not taken, some of the people who even come to that your church may even be of Igbo ancestry or Igbo origin. You can't tell. Maybe. If it's not the church where you actually a pastor, it could be one of your branches. How will they feel hearing you talk like this? It's really a shame. And so what I'm suggesting is that you should just make another video and apologize for this. In all honesty, you should apologize. I don't know you, I've never met you before, but we need to begin to call out people who want to divide us. This will not be allowed to happen anymore. The things that hold us together, the things that bind us together are more than the things that divide us. We need to begin to highlight, we need to begin to amplify all those things that bind us together. A Yoruba military officer died because he wanted to protect an Igbo army officer. It is there in history. Go and check it. There are too many things that bind us together. They want to make sure you don't look at them. They want to amplify the tiny few that separate us. We need to delete the ones that separate us and amplify the ones that bind us. Our strengths must be amplified and our weaknesses must be ignored. That's what time it is right now. And this is the only way we can get the freedom we are looking for. The people who will help us regain our freedom are ready. Everything we need for freedom is ready. We are now going to be the biggest stumbling block to our own freedom if we are not careful with the utterances we make and with the things that we do. The time has come for all this nonsense to end. This is why the white people look at us and say the black man is not fully developed in his mind. We need to prove to them that we are developed and that we can actually act like wise people and do the right thing. If the people who want to help us today are looking at us doing stuff like this, they're going to say, these guys are not serious. Let's prove the people who think we are not mature enough wrong for once. Make a video, apologize, and pull people together rather than pull them apart. That's what I expect you to do right now, and I pray that God gives you the grace to do that. I love you, and may God bless you. Thank you.